Bonjour Year 7. Welcome to your third lesson for French of this spring term. And the topic today, mon temps libre, my free time. And here is a list of the equipment you will need for today's lesson. You will need your exercise book for French, a pen and a ruler, and your Module 3 Knowledge Organiser open on class charts. You can also open your Quizlet activity, which will be a web link on class charts as well. So you can pause to get that ready now and press play to continue. Thank you for uploading all your work on class charts. I am giving achievement points for excellent home learning 24 hours after the lesson has taken place. So expect to see those when I see great photos of your fantastic work. Please also remember to email me if you have any questions at all about the activities in today's lesson. And here is my email address. Okay, Year 8. Copiez la date. Jeudi 7 janvier. And underline that neatly in your book. On the next line down in the centre, write the title, Mon temps libre, my free time. Then on the third line, write l'objectif, the objective, which is to be able to write about what you do in your free time. Okay, pause to do that now. Press play when you're ready to do your do now. Your do now should take about 10 minutes. I want you to just translate the following sentences from English into French. Only write the French. As an example, let's do the first one together. On Mondays, I listen to music as it is cool. So, to say on Mondays, we have to always use le at the start and then the singular, le lundi, so it looks like the Monday. But this actually means on Mondays, and this is used to say what we do every Monday, something that is a normal and regular occurrence. So to say on Mondays, we have le lundi, and then comma. I listen to music is j'écoute de la musique. As it is car, c'est, and cool is cool. So number 1, write down le lundi, j'écoute de la musique car c'est cool. And then if you have a go at numbers 2, 3 and 4, and then press play to go through the answers. Merci. Well done. Year 8, Year 7, let's look at the answers now. 2. Le vendredi, je reste à la maison car c'est relaxant. So le vendredi is on Fridays. I stay at home, je reste à la maison as it is car c'est, and then relaxant. Good. 3. Le week-end, je vais à la campagne car c'est génial. On the weekends, I go to the countryside as it's brilliant. And then finally, number 4. Le samedi, je regarde la télé, mais c'est ennuyeux. So on Saturdays, le samedi, I watch the TV, je regarde la télé, but it is, mais c'est, and then ennuyeux is boring. Well done. Pause and check your answers. Check you have your accents on number 1, j'écoute, and on number 2, à of à la maison, and number 3 of à la campagne, and on génial, the E of génial, and then on number 4 that you have your accents on télé, on the 2 E's. I'm going to pass you on to Miss Clinton now to do the rest of your lesson. Please take photos of all of your work and of your Quizlet as well. And I will look forward to seeing those pictures and giving you an achievement point for excellent home learning. Merci, au revoir.
7, I'd like you to spend 15 minutes on Quizlet to really do some good practice of the vocabulary that you'll be using for the rest of this lesson and as retrieval practice for the last 2 lessons, the vocabulary you've been learning about free time. So firstly, you'll need to, in a moment, go onto the link below, which will also be added to class charts. Complete the activities Learn and Write next. And then finally, spend the last 5 minutes or so completing the test activity. And at the end of the lesson, I'd like to see a screenshot of your score, please, so you can upload that onto class charts. So once your 15 minutes are up, please return back to this video lesson. See you in a bit. Okay, I'd like you, Year 7, to fill in the gaps below with the correct word. Write all the sentences out in full, please. If you do need any extra help, I have got the words down below in the blue box. Try and do it without though, but if you do, they are there, obviously not in the correct order. This is obviously just retrieval practice again of the vocabulary we've been doing over the last 2 lessons. Pause your video now. Let's have a look through your answers then. So, le mercredi, je joue avec mes amis. Le vendredi, of course, it had to be followed by a day of the week here. Je fais du sport avec mes parents. Numéro 3. Le lundi, je fais de la... and of course, here you know that we have to be followed here with a noun. So, natation worked well here. Numéro 4. Le weekend, je vais à la... And here you wanted to find the word for countryside, so campagne. And numéro 5, le dimanche, je reste. Again, here you definitely did a verb followed by je, the subject pronoun. Chez moi, et je finis mes devoirs. Again, another verb there to go in conjunction with to say I finish my homework. Pause your video now if you need to make any changes or add any accents. Okay, so we're going to move on to a reading now, a reading text called Spot the Difference. Now, hopefully you've seen some of these in class already, so don't be put off. In a moment, you are going to see quite a lot of text, okay? But as I said, it's actually much easier than it looks initially, and hopefully, as I said, you've already done some before. I will walk you through slowly anyway. So you're going to see 4 different texts below in a minute. And each text is very, very similar, but there are slight differences. There are 5 differences per box, and you're going to need to write down what those differences are in English. Now, if you have time as well, I'd like you to choose one of the texts as well and then translate it into English. In total, I'd like you to spend about 15 minutes on this, so see how far you get. Let's have a go at the first exercise. So, as I said, you'll notice that in all the texts, they start off in the same manner. So, bonjour, je m'appelle Antoine, et j'ai 14 ans. So, in the first text, Antoine he is saying he's 14 years old. Okay, so that's the first bit of information. However, you'll notice in the second text, starting exactly the same way, bonjour, je m'appelle Antoine, et j'ai 15 ans. So, rather than 14 this time, you'll see the age has changed. So there we're going to write 15 years old. In the third text, 12 years old, j'ai 12 ans. And finally in the fourth text, he says he's 18. Now, some of the sentences stay the same, but note, obviously, you've got another 4 differences per text to find. Okay, so note in the second instance, pendant mon temps libre, they all start with that. But actually the activity that they do with their friends is going to change. So I'll leave the rest up to you. Have a go, do as best you can, get as much done as you can in 15 minutes. Pause your video now. Okay, let's go through the corrections first of all for spotting the differences between each of the texts. So number 2, he does sport with his friends. Je fais du sport avec mes amis. But in the next text, he was playing. Je joue avec mes amis. In the third text, instead he's watching television with his friends. And finally, in the last text, he is going swimming. Je fais de la natation. You may have written he goes swimming as well. We'd probably more naturally say that in English. So the next difference was he finds football bad or rubbish. So here we were concentrating on the adjectives. Here he says, of course, when he plays football with his brother, c'est nul. So you might have written bad or rubbish there. Next one, he finds football with his brother affreux, so he finds it awful. And in the third text, he finds it tiring, c'est fatigant. In the next text, he says c'est ennuyeux, so he finds it boring. Okay, the next difference, he goes shopping on Tuesdays, le mardi. However, in the next text, he goes shopping on Mondays, le lundi. In the next text, he's going on Wednesday, le mercredi. Oh, there we go. And in the final text, he goes to the shopping centre on Thursdays, le jeudi. The last difference then, he finds basketball brilliant. Okay, so here again we're focusing on our adjectives. C'est génial. Whereas in the next text he says c'est amusant, so he finds it fun. In the third text he says c'est fantastique, so he finds it fantastic. And in the final text he says he finds it cool. C'est cool. Pause your video now if you need to make any changes. If you did have time to do your translations as well, remember you just needed to pick one text. I've got all 4 texts written there for you, so choose the one that you did in your books, please, and obviously make any changes if you need to. Pause your video now. So it's finally your turn to do your own writing now. I'd like to spend about 10 minutes on this. So I'd like you to write a paragraph about your free time, of course, including at least 5 activities, when you do each activity, so say on which day, who you do the activities with, just like we saw in the reading text as well, so avec ma mère, avec mon père, etc., and what you think of each activity, so give reasons why. If you'd like, you can use my model text here, so you might want to have a read through of that beforehand. And you can, of course, always go back to the sentence builder, the reading text, if you would like to, for extra help as well, sentence builders from lessons 1 and 2 if necessary. Make sure you're connecting your sentences with connectives. So here I've used aussi, okay, and I've obviously used as a sequence of finalement, finally, to give it a nice ending. I've also given a nice introduction, starting just like the reading text did, giving my name and age before I go into what I do in my free time. I'd like you to include the phrase, though, obviously to lead into your free time activities, pendant mon temps libre, so during my free time, just as we saw in the reading text before. Notice, of course, I've got lots of, I'm always giving a reason why after each new activity that I have mentioned. So pause your video now to have a go by yourselves.
Well done, Year 7. Please now upload photos of Activity 4 and Quizlet as well with your score of your test onto class charts. Look forward to seeing them and giving you achievement points tomorrow. Well done. Merci, au revoir.